Good morning, my gorgeous friends on the internet. In today's episode, we're gonna cover a fundamental. This ain't food, this is coding, bitch. We're gonna cover a fundamental aspect of full stack development, which is authentication. So I'm gonna show you how you can take Auth and implement it in React. And I know a lot of people also wonder, like, hey Ed, why don't we make our own system with Node and Express, use our own backend and encrypt our own passwords? That's never really a good idea because these huge companies like Google and Facebook, their implementation is really, really good, top notch, and their security is just next level. So there's not much you can do to match that level, to be honest. And it's also been shown that most users do prefer to sign in through Google or through Facebook rather than email and password. That's a ghost in the shot. Before we get going, I also want to mention, if you're interested in learning more about web development, there's some awesome courses down there. My website, developedbyed.com, all of the courses are project-based, so if you want to level up your React skills, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, check the link down in the description below. How to do? So let's get going. So the first thing we're gonna do is open up our little VS Code, and we have our browser here just so we can see what we're doing. And we're gonna install Next.js just because it's easy peasy. We don't need to worry about routing and stuff like that. And I always recommend this anyway over create React app. So just do npx create next app latest, and then we'll give it a name like Reacto Auth. All right, and let that install. And then for styling, we are gonna use Tailwind. I still prefer it. I know a couple of people said like, oh, it's so weird. I don't like inline styles. To be honest, I actually didn't like Tailwind at all, but once I tried it, I actually prefer it now. But yeah, let's install this as well. Well, if you want to do your own styling, do your own styling. But I'm gonna use it. Okay, cool. I mean, we're not going to do anything crazy with styling anyway, but let's just add it here. Actually, I need to see the entire project. I don't know where. Oh no, I have node modules everywhere now. Terabytes floating around. Okay, what did I call my project? Reacto Auth. This whole folder is screwed up now just because of one npm install. Gotta love it. Absolutely love node modules. Best thing that happened to the universe. Okay, let's install this again. Fuck, I ran this command before this one. Okay, there we go. That should be fine. Cool, I can do code dot. Okay, that doesn't work either. Anyway, let's just go up here. I'll just open the folder. File, open folder, and we'll do it the old school way. Look at this madness now. React Auth. Okay, cool. All right, so we have Tailwind installed. This is, by the way, the Tailwind docs, if you couldn't tell. I don't know how you couldn't tell, by the way. It says Tailwind docs up here. And we'll just copy this over, this Tailwind config. Click on it, go to Tailwind config, paste that sucker in, boom, and done. And then for your global CSS, copy this over, go to styles, global CSS, just go to the top here, paste it in, and we are done. Cool. Okay, so what do we need for Auth? Well, we are gonna use, actually, let's start up the server so we can see something. So you can do control tilde for this one, and then do, what is it? npm run dev. There we go. So that's gonna open up a local host for us, and we can click on that, and it's gonna open it in Safari for me. Lovely. Localhost. People also said like, Ed, why are you using a Mac now? I mean, whatever, man. Sometimes I use Mac, sometimes I use Windows, whatever device I have on my hand, whatever I can film a tutorial on. That's it. I don't care. I really don't. Okay. Anyway, let's go to our index CSS, JS actually. And get rid of everything in this main. So just clear out the main. Foot, no foot. Head, yes please. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Okay, Done. Cool, save. Boom. Lovely. You can get rid of all the shite up here. Save. Okay, so that's it. Pretty much we're ready to pop. We are gonna need Firebase. All right, so let's head over to Firebase. Firebase. Cool. Let's pop the sucker open. Get started. I have one here. I'll do a new one. Call this whatever. React Auth. All right, continue. Hit continue. Select an account. Continue. Just let this generate and you're good to go. So whilst that's doing that, in the terminal, we can close it and we can run npm I Firebase. All right, this is like the base package that we can use. Let all of that load up. Cool, so we can hit continue here. We have our app up and going. That's lovely. And then here we can run npm run dev again. Nice. So now what we need to do is actually add an app here. So we can go to web at the top and we can register our app. So again, React Auth is fine. And then register it. And this is going to basically spit out a config file that we need to add to our code. So as you can see, it says npm install Firebase, which we already did. So that's fine and dandy. And what we can do is just copy this folder over. This file, I should say. Copy, copy, copy. And then I like to make a new folder and call it utils and just add it in here because I usually end up having quite a few little utility files. And I'll just do firebase.js in here, all right? And then paste that sucker in there. So here you have the code, right? Everything here. But when you push it up to GitHub, you don't want this to be available to anyone. So let me make this smaller so you can see. Also, don't copy this over. I'm going to delete it. So tough luck. What did I want to say? Yeah, you don't want to push up code with your things up here, right? So what we do is we create an environment variable file. So to do that, we go here to our root folder and do .env.local, like that, all right? And the way you configure this is like this. You do next underscore public API key, like that, okay? So for this one, API key. So make sure it's always prefixed with next public. You want to have that. So next public API key, and I'll copy this over. All right, and you just set an equal sign and paste it without any quotes, without anything, just like that. Okay, cool, cool. So the next one would be the same. Next public, whatever, public, it would be off domain, right? So I just uppercase everything, off domain, like that. Equal, and just paste that in. Okay, cool, cool. Okay, I'll just paste everything that I have, so this doesn't take ages. Okay, hit save. Now, how do I add this here to the Firebase thing? Well, really easy. We just prefix it with process.env. So you just go here and do, just delete the string and do process.env dot next, whatever you named it, public API key. Like that, okay? So that's what you need. Now I'm gonna copy paste it over because this takes some time. I don't want you to sit through this because it's boring. I'll just paste it back here. There we go, and hit save. Cool, so that's it. Now, next up, what we want to do is actually go down up here and import two things. Import something called get auth from Firebase/auth. All right, this is going to allow us to This is like an object that gives you so much about the user. Whenever you need to connect to like Google or Facebook or any of those services, it's going to ask you to pass in the current auth. So we're going to import that, and we're also going to import get Firestore from Fires. And we don't need this actually. We're not going to do anything with the databases yet, just auth. If you want to see a video where I add also like a to-do list or something, let me know and I'll add it. We'll get rid of the analytics, we don't need it. And then we're gonna say export const auth equal to get auth. So we'll just call this function here, and we're exporting this auth object, okay? Because again, you're gonna see that we're gonna need to pass this into multiple places. So that's that, that's the whole Firebase configuration, all good to go. Now let's head over here. I'll show you what else we need to set up here in Firebase. It's quite easy, so don't worry, it won't take too long. We'll go to authentication here, so make sure you click that and click get started. And here for the providers, we'll choose Google for the first one and hit enable. And that's pretty much it. Here you can choose an email. Cool, and hit save. You can rename this to whatever you want, like my website. Okay, save. And that's it. That's all the setup you need to get Google Auth enabled. We're gonna do Facebook's one as well, but that's a bit different. It takes a bit more configuration to do. You're gonna see Google is the easiest one, and the other ones are a bit trickier, I should say. I don't think we need to do anything else here, if I recall. I think that might be it. Okay, cool. So we can go back to our app and get going. Also, since we added these environment variables, we need to restart our npm, otherwise it's not going to recognize these variables. Yeah, so let's close up and reopen this npm run dev. Cool, so we can get going. Okay, so let's start making some files. Okay, bear with me for a second. Cool. So let's head over to our pages here. And we'll start off with let's do like a layout and a nav bar. So just make a new folder and we'll call this components. Okay. And a new file called layout.js. And also a new file called nav.js. Like that. Okay, let's go to the layout first. So here, I'm gonna just import the nav from /nav and export default function layout. So what this layout allows me to do is to add that nav to every page I have. So literally, I can navigate between different pages, and the nav is always gonna show up. And that's where we'll have the user as well. So what you do is you do an export function layout, all right? So just like a normal React component, and you pass in children here. Children being all the other components that are wrapped up in here. So let's just do a div. Let me switch this over to React, and we'll do a div. So we'll have the nav here, right? And then we'll have the children, main, children. Again, children basically represent all the other pages, right? So this is a good visual. Your nav is always here showing up, but the children is gonna basically switch. All the pages are gonna switch. So this is dynamic. That's it. Okay, nav is done. Cool. We'll never touch this ever again. So exit, burn it. We'll head over to nav, and there's quite a few things going on here. So let's just import. Let's do export, actually, default function nav, like that, cool. And we'll return some JSAX. What else do we need to do? Wait, before we get going, let's actually use that layout. I don't think we're using the layout. We're not using the layout. Let's just add a h1 here or something. A div, h1 nav. Okay, cool. I just want to import that layout into our app. So here we'll import in our app.js, import layout from component slash layout. I should have uppercase that, but it's fine. So all we need to do here, go to the return and add 2 parentheses, move this in the middle, like that, and then we'll wrap this in our layout. Lovely, cool. And that's that. We should have our layout working now. Oh, here we go. I didn't export this, so let's do return. See how important it is to return something. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. So return that, and now everything is good to go. Cool. So we can see our nav. That's fantastic. And we can go over here. So let's start adding some stuff. Okay, so we'll keep that nav. I'm gonna import link as well. So our logo basically takes us back to the home screen. So import link. All right, and here, just rename this to a nav and not a div, so it's a bit more clear. And we'll have a link tag basically, like that. We'll close it up. Perfect, and we can say logo here. The href is gonna be back to that. All right, so when we click on this now, it's always gonna take us back to the home. And then in here, I'll just add a UL. React, we'll do UL. We'll have an A tag. Let's do a link in here actually. Let's do link. Close that sucker up. And in here, I'm gonna also add an A tag. So A tag, it's not gonna have a href because we'll use the link. And we're gonna say join now, all right? So it's like a sign up here. And then we'll add some class names to this. py2, px4. If you wanna learn more about Tailwind, check out my latest video. Py2, px4. So that's just some padding, some text large, background of teal of 500. And we'll do a text white, rounded large, font medium, and ML8. And hit save. Bam, crashed, cool. That's lovely. We need to add a href here, that's why. So href, let's take people over to, I'm just making one up now, auth/login. That sounds pretty cool. Okay, there's our button as well. Cool, join now, lovely. Just a bit more styling here, so actually it looks like a nav bar. We'll add a flex to this, a justify between, item center, and a pi of 10. There we go. So now it actually looks like a nav bar. Yeah, that's fine. I guess we'll add a bit of class to our index page, our home page. Or actually, let's do it to our, where should we do it? Let's explore our code, everyone. To our layout, that's where I want to do it. Yeah, just like a, let's go here, like a class name of mx14, just a margin x. There we go, to kind of push everything in. Cool. And then here, where it says hello, so that comes from our index.js, which is our home page. So every time you go to localhost 3000, it's gonna load up this page. All right, so here we can just, I don't know, just add some random text. You can figure something out. I believe in you. I'll add something, okay, just so you can see. Here you go. Upgrade your web development today. Learn web development using the latest tech. And then I'll push it down, margin top 10. There you go, cool. All right, cool. Never touching this again as well. So we can close all of that up. Cool. So now when we click join now, it's gonna take us to this auth/login, but we don't have a page for that. So go to pages, new folder, call this Auth. And in here, we'll make a new file called login.js. Cool, so now every time we go to this page, to Auth login, it's gonna load up this one. So we can do an export default function login, like that. All right, and then in here we'll have, well, let's add a return. Let's not forget that again. I low-key spent 20 minutes trying to figure out what was wrong, and it was that. So I want to make sure I have it now. Let's just return a div. Okay, so this is going to be basically like the sign-up form that we're going to see here. Okay, so let's add a h2 here saying join today. All right, so there we go. So we have the text there. I'll add another div, h3 in here, sign in with one of the providers. So we'll just do 2 for today. That's enough trouble on my end. Okay, cool. So after this, what do I want to do after this? Do another div. And I'll add like the buttons and everything in here, okay? So we'll have 2 buttons. One's gonna be called sign in with Google. And then we'll have another button that's gonna say sign in with Facebook. Okay, cool. I think that's it. Don't think I need anything else. I'll style it up a bit and let's add some icons in as well. So just open up the terminal, kill it, npm I react icons. And we'll just import 2. So let's run the server again, npm run dev. Let's scroll up to the top here and say import fc Google from React icons. If you want to see all the React icons, go over to React icons. Import AI fill Facebook from React icons AI. Okay, those are the 2. And we'll just, what happened here? Goodness sakes. That's madness. Okay, cool. We'll just add it. We'll just add the icons inside each button, just because it's going to make styling easier. So go here, say FC Google, and close this sucker up. Whoa, it did not like that. Why not? Oh, so you have to specify where it comes from. FC. I don't know why that is like that. It should just detect it automatically, but let's just move on. AI fill Facebook. Cool. Close that up as well. There we go. Let me make more space. You can't see. What kind of teacher am I? Goodness sakes. Okay. Let's style this up a bit. So I'll just go to the big div and say shadow. Let's have a class name. Shadow XL MT 32P10 text gray 700. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it's kind of like a box. We'll round it out off, rounded LG. Okay, cool. We'll make some of the text bigger as well. Class name, text 3XL, font medium. Nice and big, juicy, perfect. We'll add some padding here, PY4, some padding Y4. This one, a bit of padding as well, PY4. Push it down, cool. And then all of these buttons here, we'll add a class name of flex, and then flex call, gap4. Okay, that looks perfect. Does it though? It doesn't, but we'll do a class name on the icons as well. Text to XL, make them nice and big. Class name, text to XL. Okay, icons are nice and big. You can also add a color to this if you want. If you don't like this Facebook logo to look like this, you can do text blue 300. Boom, it's blue now. Cool. 400 looks more like the logo they have. Yeah, that's not bad. And let's customize the buttons as well a bit. And I'll just copy the thing over after. So let's do text white. Okay, we'll do BG gray 700. There we go, that looks cool. P4, I'll do the width to full. We'll do font medium. Rounded LG. There we go, that's nice. Flex. Align middle. We'll add a wee gap. Gap 2. There we go, that's pretty good. So I'll just copy this over. Grab this whole shebang bang. Shebang bang? Bang bang. Copy. Go to this button. Boom, done. Okay, we're styled. Perfect, that's it. That's all we need. So now we can add the logic and actually start signing people up. Goodness sakes, it's been like 30 minutes and we haven't done anything. Looks pretty nice though, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so let's start off with the Google Auth. So how do we get going? Well, let's go to the top. Look how simple this is. We're gonna import called Google Auth Provider and sign in with pop-up like that from Firebase/Auth. All right, so these are the two things that you need to import. Cool. So now that we have those imported, I'll add a wee comment here, sign in with Google. So all we need to do is just get this Google provider and call it here. So new Google Auth provider. All right, so just invoke this function and that's it. So now what you can do is make a function here. I'll call this Google login. Set this equal to an async function, all right, because we need to wait for the user to be authenticated. And we can do a try catch loop here, try catch, and try to log the user in. So look how simple it is. Const result is equal to, I'll make a variable, say await, sign in with pop-up. And this takes two parameters. One of them is the Google provider that we just defined up here. And the second one is the auth from our little utils file here that we defined. I told you we're going to need to use this because a lot of things require it. So we're exporting it already, so we just need to import it. So let's go here to our login, go to the top, and we'll just say import auth from /util/Firebase. Okay, cool. So that's it. Let me make space. So the first one is actually auth, and the second one is Google provider. Okay, nice. And that's it. After you do this, you should have the user console log. You can get it by saying result the user. It should be there. If it's not, then we can do a console log error. Okay, hit save. Let's see. Maybe more space. If you want to add a width here, like so it doesn't stretch all the way like this, feel free to do that. So click that. Let's see if anything happens. Any errors? Nothing happens. Why? Because we haven't hooked this damn thing up. It's just a function doing nothing. So let's go over to our button and say on click. Not on dick, on click. We'll invoke this function basically, right? So we'll do, what did I call the function? Google login. Google login. Cool. What is wrong with you now? Oh. Okay. Click. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. And it's probably gonna tell you to click yes and agree, but we basically signed up the user now. So if you check your Firebase Look, can I not? Thank you. I assumed you said bless you. You better. You better. Actually use the other one. So let me go back to it. If you go to your Firebase and to Auth now, look at that, boom, we signed the user up. Cool. So we should also be able to see like the info if we go to inspect here. Console. Here we go, look at that. We got email and all the good stuff. Display name, we also get a picture and all that good jazz. Yay! That's really cool, isn't it? So how do we load up the user in every file? Basically, wherever I want to access the user. Well, there's actually a little package that's nicer than the way Firebase does it. So we'll just install that and you're going to see how nice and clean it is. Okay, so all you need to do is say npm I React Firebase hooks. There's a nice little hook here that just lets you easily import the user and check if the user is there or not. So let's install that package. And now take a look at this. Let's head over to our nav, for example. Let's say if the user loads up, if the user signed in, I don't want to display this join now anymore, right? I want to display the user. So go up here and just say import use of state from this little utility package that we made from React Firebase hooks. Okay, and then we also need to import auth from that little utils package. So these are the two things we need. And now here, all you need to do to get the user is say const user and loading. All right, these are the two that you get access to. And you do this use of state and pass in the auth. So this is going to detect, hey, do we have a user? Do we not have a user? And then we can do things according to that. So for example, this join now, if there's no user, I don't want to load it up. So I can say, if there's no user, and then render this out. Whoops. What? Oh my God. Oh, you mother. There we go. Sorry. Okay. So that's one. So if there's no user, okay, what's the error? What's the problem? Did I not install it correctly? Module not found. Can't resolve React Firebase hooks. What did I mistype? Ah, it's one of those things again where you have to go here and do /auth. And now it works. How stupid. See, so it's gone now because it detects that we have a user logged in. Cool. Ignore this error. Don't worry about it. So now what we can do is down here say, well, if I do have a user, then do something else. So if there is a user and then I'll do parentheses and here I'll just make another div. Let's do React. So I'll make a div and I'll have a link here. So basically what I want to do is make the user go to its dashboard. So /dashboard. We're going to create this component in just a bit. And then I'll just have the image with the user. So to get that, you need to do user.photo URL. And you're going to see you can get that in that user. If you console log out the user here, you can get it. Okay, what's the situation now? Let's figure this out. Okay, so I just restarted the server and went to the localhost 3000 and it should be fine now. So look at that, we get a picture. When we click on dashboard, we'll load up the dashboard page, but it's fine. It doesn't work now because we don't have the component. But look at that. So that's it, user and loading. And you can use this loading to add like a spinner or add some text or some skeleton over it whilst it loads up. But once it loads up, it switches to user. Okay, what else I'm gonna do here is you're gonna see when we add the Facebook one, it's gonna have an issue now loading the picture. So for now, just go here and to this, and again, you can also like add h2 and say user dot display name, I believe, and other information that Google provides you. Oh, I cannot edit this in here actually. I can do that though. Develop by ad, see, cool. Okay, anyway, you get a couple more stuff. I just want to add here to this image again, just go to it, and we'll add a alt tag, we'll do avatar, and we'll also add this refer policy, we'll just say no refer. And also a class name of v12 rounded full. Make it a bit smaller and nice like that. Cool. So that's it. All right, our users is logged in. So now let's say we want to go to the dashboard here. All right, I'll just make a simple one for us, and I'll show you how we can protect it as well. So pages, new file, we'll call this dashboard.js. So we'll just do an export default function dashboard. Cool. So what I want to do is actually make the user be able to log out. All right, that's quite an important one. So let's do React. We'll add a div here, and we'll say h1 welcome to your dashboard, and I want to display the user's name here. So user dot display name. Okay, but we don't have this, so we need to import those two things again. Remember, we need to import auth, and we need to import use auth state as well. So now that we have those two, we can just do const user, and loading is equal to use auth state. Pass in the auth there. Cool, and now that should work just fine. If we refresh this, cannot read property of null, fantastic. I need to restart it because I added a new page. Don't know why it's so finicky with me. No, okay, user.display name doesn't work. Well, why not? Let's console log out the user. Let's see if that works. That should be fine. Yeah, that works. Console, let's do console log user. Let's go over to here. Yeah, it's there. What's your problem? Maybe because it's not loaded up in that moment. So if I do user.display name, no, it works fine. But what we can do is, if it doesn't load up here, we can do if it's still loading, we can just return like a h1. I'll make sure you also do this before the return here. So if there's loading and we don't know if the user is there yet, just return a h1 saying loading ... You can change this with an icon, with a spinner, with whatever you want. And also, if there's no user, this is important, if there's no user, I want to redirect them to the login screen, basically, right? Because look, right now, let's actually add the sign out. I'll show you something cool. I'll add a button here, sign out, and I'll do an on click. How do I sign the user out? Really simple. Run an arrow function and say auth.signout, all right? That's it. From the utils Firebase, we can just call that. Hit save, click it, and boom, user is signed out. And look, cannot read properties of null, blah, 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 no display. Why? Because there's no user. But I don't want to have this issue. What I want to do is say, if there is no user in the first place, then just redirect them to the login page. How do I redirect someone? We can import use router from next/router. And with this, I can just say, if there's no user, route.push. Actually, I need to also define this router here. I need to say const route equal to use router. So you need to call it first. And then you can say route.push. And we'll push them over where? You know, auth/login, of course, and hit save. All right, that should be it. So that should work just fine. So let's go back here. Okay, so I want to go over to /dashboard, sneak my way into it. Boom, error, doesn't work. Cool. It still gives this error. It shouldn't actually. So we'll fix this as well. It should just redirect us to auth login. I think because I'm console logging out the user here. That might be it. It's one of these small little things. Let's try that again. /dashboard. No, still errors out. Oh yeah, because this is going to be rendered out anyway. So I need to say here, if there's a user, then return this. All right. Otherwise, don't return anything. Okay. So now if I go /dashboard, oh, boom, redirected to login. There we go. We cannot access the dashboard anymore unless the user is logged in. Now, what would be also cool is when we hit sign in with Google, it would be cool to automatically redirect them to the dashboard. So let's go over to login and we'll do the same thing. Import at the top here, use router from next router. And here we'll just say, at the top actually, const route equal to use router. We'll say route.push them over to the dashboard. And that should be it. That should be it. Sign in, loads up, nice. Boom, redirected to the dashboard. Really cool. Lovely. Sign out. That's perfect. Okay. What else do we need to do? We'll do a Facebook auth. Let's see, do we have everything working just fine? Let me log in here. Okay, yeah, I think we should be perfectly fine. Oh, there's another thing. I can still go to the login if I change that, I believe. Auth/login. But I'm already signed in, so I don't want to really see this. So we can just import use effect here from React. And down here somewhere, I can just say something like use effect and run a function here. And I'll just say if there's a user, then route.push them over to the dashboard. There's no point of showing the login screen. Else, console log login, because we're going to be on the login anyway. And here we're just going to pass in the user. All right, so it's going to look for that. Okay, so we're logged in now. And if I go to login, sorry, auth/login. Okay, it says user is not defined. Oh, I don't have the user imported. So let's import auth like that and use auth state as well. Cool. And then at the top here, we'll just do const user/loading equals to use auth state auth. Okay, oh, cool. So that should be fine. Now what? What's the dealio now? That should be fine. No, it's not. It's this import statement that he doesn't like. /util/file. That is correct. What are you on about? There we go. See? So now if we go over to /auth login, no, it still does it. Oh, I already had it imported up here actually. So let's get rid of it and hit save. And there we go. All right. So now if we go over to /auth login, we should just be redirected. Perfect. So it works. I had it imported twice. That's why it failed. Okay, now to do the Facebook one. So let's log out of this one. Sign out. Cool. And we'll just make a new one. So up here at the top, what we can do is say Boom, 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 where's my login? Here. So in here, where we do the sign up, we can do Facebook, Auth provider, and we'll do update profile, and I'll show you why. Okay, cool. So kind of the same thing that we did here. We'll do it again, sign in with Facebook. Let me minimize this. All right, go down here. And all we need to do is say const fb provider is equal to new Facebook Auth provider, like that. And const Facebook provider async, same thing, looks almost the same. That's why it's kind of nice to implement. We'll do a try catch. All right, and in this try, again, we're gonna have the same result. Await, sign in with pop-up, and we'll just pass off and the Facebook provider this time. Cool. And yeah, we should have the user. So console log result. And then I'll show you something that we need to actually do. We're also going to route.push them to the dashboard, right? Dashboard, perfect. And then here, let's just console log the error. Lovely. What's wrong with you? Oh, add the space here and hit save. Okay, so now in our little Firebase, there's a couple of things we need to do. So get started here. Okay, cool. So let's go over here, get started, go to our app. So make sure you have that enabled as well. So sign in methods, make sure you enable the Facebook, and you're gonna have this app ID and app secret. Make sure you copy those two over. And then here, you also need to go to the Facebook app, like development, dev something. I think if you just click around here, you can find it. Where is it? Facebook app configuration. So we need to post this callback into our Facebook dashboard. Facebook, what do you call this? Facebook developer something. I think it's this one, should be this one. Yeah, and then you go to My Apps. Make sure you create an app. Create an app, it's pretty simple. And then once you go in it, you can go over to Settings. It's somewhere here. All right, so you need the app ID and app secret. So take these two, paste them in here, right? From here, app ID, app secret. And then app domains is going to be localhost. You also need to post in like a URL thing. Site URL, I'll just have localhost there. But you should have, where is this son of a gun? Should be like a callback that you can paste. Should be here, that's so weird. Oh, maybe here, Facebook login, settings. There we go, valid auth redirect URIs. Post that sucker in here from this, okay? Copy that, post it in here and save it. Down here, save it down here. And that should be it. Cool. So now that we have that, we should be pretty ready to go. So let me minimize this, go here to the on-click. Add an on-click to this. And then we'll just say Facebook, what did I do? Should I call this Facebook login? Facebook login. Okay, cool. Copy this over, paste it down here and hit save. Facebook login. Okay, now when we hit on this, should be redirected to Facebook. It's gonna pop up with a message for you and boom, we are in. Now everything works, see, I get the name and everything, and the only problem is the picture. And this is because they did some weird update where they made it extra hard for you to get the picture for some reason, for security purposes. So I looked all over the internet and it's a nightmare, but I found the solution, so we are good to go here. So what we need to do basically is pass in an access token. Facebook only allows us to get like the pictures data if we pass in an access token. So what we do is up here we do credential, set this equal to await Facebook auth provider. We'll get the Facebook auth provider dot credentials from result. All right. And then we'll pass in the result from up here. All right, so this is going to give us basically like an access token from our login. So we can do const token equal to credential dot access token. All right, so to get the actual URL for the picture, photo URL, we can say result.user.photo URL. All right, so it's the same as the Google's, but Facebook's give basically the stock image. All right, so it doesn't actually give you the picture because it's the same, like Google's is the same, it just works, but Facebook's doesn't. So basically here we can just add a plus symbol and say, we can also specify a height. So I can say question mark height, let's set it to 500. And then we can say and access token equals plus the token that we got from up there. Okay, so we're basically adding the token to this URL. But what I want to do is also update my picture. So I can say await update profile, and I can import this update profile. And you can modify basically your profile from like the Firebase database. So I can say auth.current-user, and I can modify the photo URL to the photo URL that I have down here. All right, so if you want to update the user with some kind of information, you want to add data, change their name, anything like that, update profile lets you do that. So I'm just changing the photo URL, this stock one, with the one that has the access token, and that should make it work. Okay, cool. So let's save that. Might need to log out and log back in for this to work. Let's see. Hopefully it'll, look at that, boom, updated. And now we have the Facebook image ready to go. So that's going to be it for me today. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to drop a subscribe down below if you did. And write in the comment section, what would you like me to teach you next? I'm in a very good mood. I'm learning loads now. So anything you want, just write it down. Code, design, dance lessons. I got you. Bye.